So you're applying for Social Security disability. You've made that decision. Great. What are the next steps? I just want to remind you, I'm not an attorney. I'm not your guru. I'm not a legal advisor. If you decide that this process is for you and you want legal help, I'm not your gal. Find someone with some expertise. I have experience, but no expertise. So I'm painting with broad brush strokes and speaking from my experience assisting others in the process. Let's get into it. So you've decided that you can no longer be in the world of work because of your disabilities. And you do have more than 5 or at least 5 years of experience working at a job that you have paid into Social Security, and now you can't anymore. What's next? All right, so now it's time to take the plunge. And a plunge it is, folks. It is not a short process. It's not a simple process. It's not a process for the faint of heart. But the next thing you might want to do is get a hold of the paperwork. And you can do that 2 ways. You can go down to the Social Security Administration and pick up the forms, or you can download them from the internet from the Social Security Administration online. And the type of thing that you're applying for probably is SSI, not SSD, but SSI. And this is Social Security insurance for those of us who have worked into the system and then become disabled. And what you need to know is that this is not a quick process. This is not something that's going to happen rapidly. My friend who applied last year, once the forms were received, she was told it would be probably 11 months before she heard back from the Social Security Administration about their initial decision. So that's where they were last year. So you get the forms and you think, oh, this is just like 7 pages. What's she talking about? This isn't hard. And yes, maybe. And yet, it's not as simple as it first appears, because there's a lot more that goes into it than just those 7 pages. So as you'll see when you first look at them, there's all the government forms of it all, like, are you married? Where were you born? What was your other names that you went by, if it's not just the one you're using now? And there's also the kinds of things that you're going to need to gather in advance of filling out the forms. Things like, what were the last 3 jobs that you worked? What were the dates you worked there? How much did you earn, hourly or salary, at each of those jobs? So there is some legwork involved in even just the government minutia of these forms, aside from even getting into the disability of it all. And then you get into the disability of it all. And they give you, I can't remember whether it's a third or a half of a page for you to tell them why you can no longer work anymore. And do they actually think you're only going to give them a third of a page? I doubt it. I mean, maybe there are a few conditions where you can just say, like, I'm at death's door and here's why. But I suspect that the vast majority of us attach extra pages. And you can do that. I suspect too that there's a point of diminishing returns, right? Like that if you attach 19 pages, there are very few government workers who probably have the amount of time and patience to read through all of those pages. So be thoughtful about how much work you're asking someone to do. You want to spell out why it is that you can't work anymore. You want to be clear and explicit about, I can't think, I can't walk, I can't stand, I can't breathe, I can't stay awake, I can't be seated. Whatever it is that most clearly and accurately paints the picture of what would inhibit you from working any job. Because beyond just working the jobs you have worked, the Social Security Administration is going to say, can you work any job? Is there another job you could have or could be doing that you are not doing? They want to know what work you can do, not just what work you have been doing. So be thoughtful about how you frame your argument. Be thoughtful about how you describe what you are doing each day, what you are capable of doing each day, what your limitations are, and why. And it's a matter of connecting the dots for them about how your diagnoses, your functional limitations, your medications, all of those combine together to create a picture of what you are and are not capable of, and are able to then substantiate that for them so that they can make a determination on whether or not you're eligible for Social Security disability. All right, so I would leave yourself some time to fill out these forms, and maybe it won't be true for you, but for me, it was overwhelming. Not just to complete the forms that were somewhat confusing and ask questions that were oddly phrased or weirdly worded, but it's also an emotional thing for me to be coming to terms with the loss of identity of being someone who is out in the world of work, who is coming to terms with, oh, I can't work anymore. And so for me, there was a very emotional component with creating the argument and therefore grappling with digesting and trying to accept the reality of the argument that I couldn't work anymore. And so I would recommend that you give yourself some time and space to really be thoughtful about how you complete these forms. There are some other pieces that go into the work of applying. I'll get into those in my next video. But if you have comments or questions or pieces of this process that you want to add to or ask about, please do so in the comments below or DM me over on Instagram. And until we're together again, I thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, or forward, and be well.